Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Isbin, Chair of the Dover Planning Board, and I'm going to call the meeting to order June 16th at 7:03 p.m. This meeting is being handled by Zoom, given the authority of the governor, and it is also being recorded. We're going to start with a roll call. Corey, have you let the folks in yet?
I have not.
Okay, if you would let them all in, that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay. They should be joining shortly.
Okay. Here they go. I'm going to start over.
They should all be able to hear you as well.
Okay. Okay, very good. I'm going to start over then. I'm Carol Isbin, Chair of the Dover Planning Board. I'm going to call the meeting to order now at 7:05 for our June 16th meeting. This is being handled by Zoom via authorization from the governor, and it is being recorded. I'm first going to take a roll call vote, make sure we have a quorum. Katie Williams,
Here.
Val Lynn,
Here.
and of course, Carol has been here. That gives us a quorum. Thank you very much. We start our meetings off with 5 minutes of citizens' comments. Do we see any citizens here who are attending tonight for items that are not on tonight's agenda? I don't see anybody.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey.
So I don't see anybody here that is not on the agenda. So with that, we're going to move to our regular business. The first order is a site plan review for 28 Valley Road. So who do we have here from representing 28 Valley Road and Blue Pool Inc., I assume?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. Who are you?
So my name is Lucas Santos. I'm a co-owner of Blue Pool Inc. And I potentially want to be building Richard Guerin's pool this year.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Is there anybody else, either the Garans or anybody else from Blue Pool? Nope.
Yes, I'm here
Yeah.
listening
Okay.
in, Rick.
I see, Rick. Okay.
Hey, Rick.
Okay, so would you like to present the plans to us? Lucas?
I'm here. Okay. So
And
yeah,
would you like to share your screen? Do you have them available for that?
I do not. I am on the phone right now.
Okay. Do
Yeah.
we all have we all have copies of the application and the plans? Val, could you share your screen? Could you do that
Yeah,
quickly?
give me 1 second to pull those up.
I forgot to change my security, which I try to do before these meetings, so I cannot do that.
1 second. Should I pull up revised site plan?
Yes, thank you.
Let's see. Yeah. I think someone has to let me share.
Corey, could you let
Okay, I think. I can.
Here we go.
What did I just do? Can you guys see, what do we,
So we have we have the drive listing, so.
okay, I
if
don't
you
know what
click-
just happened. Okay, let me stop sharing for 1 second and redo it again. Uh,
No,
Give me, sorry.
Okay. That's okay. No, I threw this at you, so my, my apologies.
Nope, that's okay.
If not, we all have it in front of us, so, we can just proceed that way.
Okay, yeah, for some reason it's not wanting to
Okay.
pull up the way it should.
Okay, so, Lucas, would you like to, step us through?
Okay, so potentially Richard wants to have a 16 by 32. It's going to be an in-ground vinyl liner pool. He wants to have that built in his backyard. Right now, based off the plot plan, it's roughly 31 feet and 3 inches away from from the rear property line, and it's 30 feet to be exact from the back of his house. Um, from the old plot plan to the new plot plan, um, originally he was gonna have a fence barricading around the pool, right after the patio, but he decided to change that, and we're gonna be giving him an automatic cover to bypass the fence.
And is that, we haven't had that before the planning board before, so I assume the Board of Health has approved that? Or the building inspector? Is that part of, is that allowed by Massachusetts pool law?
No, that is allowed by Massachusetts law, but I believe I sent all the paperwork for the automatic cover. If I haven't, then I do apologize, and I'll right after this meeting I'll send it over. But I believe I sent everything.
Well, the, that's not under the purview of the planning board. It would have to go to the Board of Health anyway. So
Mhm.
I assume that the application is going to the Board of Health for approval anyway, or,
Mhm.
or has it already
I believe it's gone already.
with the order cover?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Order covers work great as long as people remember to open and close them.
Especially
As I tell my daughter and with my 4-year-old granddaughter. But they also.
Excuse me, Carol.
Uh-huh.
We do have a phone number calling in, but I'm not sure if it's Jody. Please let me know if I should allow them to
Okay,
speak
hold
as
on.
well.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I'll allow her to
Yeah,
speak.
I just got a message to let her, yep, okay.
I got it on here.
Oh,
Sorry.
there we go. Okay. Sorry, Lucas, Lucas, so there's no fence, there's gonna be an auto cover.
correct.
And is the cabana currently there, or is that gonna be built as well?
Oh man, that's a question I have to ask Chris. I don't remember off the top of my head anymore.
Great, Rick?
Hey Rick.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. So 2020, there was a pool permit for a hot tub, and that's just the where the hot tub is, and it's a like a 10 by 10 pad, and it's got a little well, they call it a cabana, but it's really just a small like gazebo over the hot tub.
Oh, it's already there.
It's already there. Yeah, it's existing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that was, I believe that was all the stuff in black has already been.
Just
Yeah.
check, just
Yeah, okay.
checking. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about the pool? Okay, hearing none, I think you've all seen, my attempt at a decision for the pool. based on this, I'm going to change it a little bit to add the fact that that there is not going to be any appropriate fencing, that it's going to be an auto cover, and that I'll make sure that under the conditions that we make it very specific to approval of the Board of Health, which we usually do, but specifically to the auto cover as well. So I'd like to read the decision with those amendments, and see if we can get this approved. So, after considering the application and other materials submitted at its meeting of June 16th, 2025, the board approved the plans entitled Proposed Pool Plan of Land at 28 Valley Road, Dover, MA, with the following conditions. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, minor modifications to the site plan may be approved administratively by the planning board chair. Any future modifications to the site shall be reviewed and approved by the planning board. The lighting on the site must not spill over onto any adjoining property. The pool must be filled by a water truck. The site is subject to review by the Board of Health with specific review of the auto cover. The site is subject to Stormwater Bylaw Chapter 159 review by the Department of Public Works. And adherence to setbacks and lot coverage requirements is subject to review by the building department. I added number 7 because without a town planner here, I just want to make sure that that setbacks and lot coverage are appropriately reviewed by the building department, even though they're under site plan review in our bylaw. So do I hear a second?
Second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. And let's take a vote. Katie,
Yes.
Val,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
and Carol. Yes. Okay, Lucas and Rick, thank you for coming in. And as the decision shows, please just make sure that you go through with the Board of Health and the building inspector and the stormwater situation. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect, thank you.
Okay, our next application on the agenda is a site plan review for 134 Dedham Street. And who do we have representing that? Let's assume Bruce McDowell. Welcome, thank you. And Jeff Plant,
That's correct. Good evening.
good evening. Anybody else from, no, that looks about it.
That's it from our team.
Okay, very good.
The
So-
owners were hoping to jump on, but they had a couple of sports games tonight that they had to
It's a nice night for it.
Beautiful.
So who would like to talk to us about the plans for the pool?
I'll walk us through the plans, Carol. Thank you, Carol and board members. Let me just go and jump into a share here.
Yeah.
Let me know when everybody can see the plan.
There we go, yep.
Okay, I'm going to just zoom out just for a quick context on the site. So this is 134 Dedham Street. The street here on your plan is at the bottom, in case everybody hasn't had a chance to take a look at the plan. The driveway comes in, there's a large circular drive, and then the existing house here. And then kind of shaded in pink is what we are proposing. Before I walk us through that, I'm just going to quickly switch over to the existing conditions plan. This is the same plan, but this is the existing conditions as it is today. And I think it's helpful for context because essentially the in-ground swimming pool that's being proposed is basically happening on about half to 2/3 of this existing clay tennis court. So it's a kind of a previously disturbed, nice flat area. It made a lot of sense when we were thinking about putting the pool concept together. So just for reference here, if you look at sort of this end of the court, and if I switch back to this view, you can see essentially we're going to come in and remove, like I said, approximately, it's a little bit more than half probably 2/3 of the clay court. It's a proposed in-ground rectangular swimming pool. This is a gunite swimming pool. And there's also a detached gunite spa here. Both the pool and the spa will have a kind of a typical patio area around them. And then we're also proposing as kind of a link to get back up to this is an existing wood deck here. You can see in black, the steps. But to get us from the pool and spa back up to that area, we've got a few steps here. There's a slight grade change. And then we're proposing a little patio and sitting area with a little sitting wall here. These little symbols represent like a stepping stone path. We're also, as part of this, kind of modifying, I would call it, there's some existing stone walls here that they're all less than 3 feet height. So we have a little modification there. But essentially we've got the pool, the spa, and then a little connector back up to the patio and a sitting wall. We will be doing a pool compliant fence around the pool. This pool does have an automatic safety cover, but my understanding is in talking with the Board of Health that a fence is required in any situation. And I think, I'm not sure. It sounded like there was maybe some misunderstanding on the other hearing, but we're doing a fence, and I'm fairly certain it's required, whether you have an automatic cover or not. And at least that's the information we were provided. The pool equipment will be tucked up here behind the existing garage. And then again, with regard to setbacks, I'll just zoom out a little bit. So on this particular lot, we have a 30-foot side setback, a 30-foot rear setback. And just for quick dimensions, you could see we're over 90 feet to the pool corner here. We're 119 to here. The pool equipment itself is over 70 feet here. So if we zoom out, we're well within like those 30-foot side setbacks. We also this plan was prepared by the project surveyor, but we did provide a little summary table here, which I think again will be required when we go see the building.
Yep.
But the calculations here for existing plus proposed impervious, we end up with 17.8% on the lot coverage, which in this lot, we're allowed to go up to 20. So we're covered there. And again, I already kind of reviewed the setbacks, what the requirements are and what we're proposing to kind of check all those boxes. And so that's, I'll just zoom back out here. That's kind of a summary of what we're proposing, and I'd open it up to any questions to the board or other members. Or I'll say to Bruce if there's anything I might have forgotten.
Thank you, Jeff.
Perfect.
Bruce, that was perfect from you? Okay, there we go. Do I have any questions from the planning board members?
Carol, I just
None
have
for me,
one
no.
question. It was a great presentation. My question is, in Dover, we require pools to be filled by using a truck and bringing the water in. Where the driveway is to the distance back to the pool, do you anticipate any issues with having that filled with a truck?
That's a good point. I think typically from what we've seen, and we've done pools on really large properties and large sites before, but I think we can get the tanker in here in some form or fashion. And usually Bruce, correct me if I'm wrong, they usually carry plenty of line. I mean, this, again, on plan, this probably looks just a lot farther than it really is, but I don't think that's going to be a concern here. And if you wanted to, whatever, condition that it's a tank fill, that's normally what we do anyway, just because of the gunite process, and to make that all cure properly, these need to be actually filled quickly. So
yeah, that's right. There'll be 2 trucks for this pool, and just as you said, we've already talking with engineering, so there'll be a construction access around the back side of the garage. The truck will be able to back along that side right there, well within their reach. It's a good question, but yeah, that is our proposed, that is our plan.
And for an ongoing basis, when the owners are filling their pool, they can use a truck. Correct?
Yeah, the water would obviously be, when it's winterized, be drawn down a bit, but
Yeah.
they could use a truck, or I believe they're on a well here. Is there a requirement to use a truck if they're on a well?
Well, we request that, that pools be filled with, not using our groundwater.
Got it.
with
Yeah.
the truck. mean-
That'd be a non-issue. Yep, so we can write that in.
That's part of the part of the decision.
Okay, very good.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Val. Did somebody else have a question?
None for me, thanks.
No? Okay. Katie, you okay? Okay, well, Jeff, thank you. That was a great presentation and the plans look good. So I think you've all seen before you the draft decision. And when we go through provisions in the bylaw B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, this seems to certainly fall within that. Once again, per 185-36, A has to do with frontage and coverage, and we will be conditioning that as well back to the building inspector. So with that, I would like to read the draft decision. After considering the application and other materials submitted at its meeting of June 16th, 2025, the board approved plans entitled Proposed Pool Plan of Land. Whoops. Reading the wrong one, sorry. Hold on for a second, folks.
We're with you.
28 Valley Road, 28 Valley Road. I didn't pick out the wrong ones. Well, let me, my apologies. I will need, okay, after considering the application and other materials submitted at its meeting of June 16th, the board approved the plans entitled Proposed Site Plan 134 Dedham Street with the following conditions. Prior to the issuance of a building permit, minor modifications to the site plan may be approved administratively by the planning board chair. Any future modifications to the site shall be reviewed and approved by the planning board. The lighting on the site must not spill over onto any adjoining property. The pool must be filled by water truck. The site is subject to review by the Board of Health. The site is subject to Stormwater Bylaw Chapter 159 review by the Department of Public Works. And adherence to setbacks and lot coverage requirements is subject to review by the building department. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Katie?
Sorry, my mute is not releasing fast enough. Yes.
Thank you. Val?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
And Carol, yes. Okay, well, Jeff and Bruce, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. I do, and board members, I appreciate your time. Carol, one question on the light spilling condition. Does that just mean we're using dark sky fixtures, or how do we think about that in terms of the landscape lighting and how that gets executed?
So the dark sky fixtures would be great. And if you have any lighting, I don't know if there's going to be any lighting. Sometimes we see a lighting plan. But if there's going to be any lighting around the patio and the steps from the pool to the patio, and then those need to be downward facing and very focused.
Okay. So no uplighting.
No uplighting.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you very much. Have a good
Thank you.
evening.
Okay. Thank you,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night. Next item is approval of the minutes of May 19th, which I hope you've all had a chance to read over. Any edits or changes to those? Seeing none, I make a.
Good, thanks, Carol.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Sue. I make a motion to approve the minutes of May 19th as submitted. Do I hear a second?
Second?
Okay, we'll take a roll call vote. Katie?
Yes, approve.
Val?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
And Carol. Okay. So, we have some updates. Let me start going through the list. MBTA, I don't know if you all saw the decision that was made last week by the Massachusetts courts on what I think is probably the last major lawsuit about the MBTA Communities Act. 9 towns that had submitted a complaint based upon the February decision by the state auditor that this was an unfunded mandate. So that was totally dismissed by the courts as legally flawed. And the judge also made the specific comment that the act does not require building, it just requires zoning. So we have composed a short blurb that was added to the website, the MBTA webpage today. And we will inform the community, for those that may have missed it, in the July digital newsletter from the town. So that's all good news, and I think it sort of clears the decks of legal issues, or for those that think that there are other legal ways for us to handle this situation. Thank you all for getting back so quickly. So we have a town planner candidate. And I sent out an email today with her application. So I appreciate you all taking a chance to look at it. And we will vote at our meeting Monday morning at 8 o'clock. And I will be discussing things with the personnel board a couple of hours after that. So fingers crossed that we will have a town planner at our next meeting in July. So that would be great. And I hope when you look at her resumes and material that you'll be as thrilled as Jody and I have been in meeting with her. Some follow-up based upon the town meeting that we had in May. All kinds of red tape to go through after town meeting. So the 4 bylaws have been sent to the Attorney General's office, and we must thank Felicia for helping out on that with some paperwork that was provided by that was started by Jasmine and Sue. The floodplain certification is in process with Eric Carlson, as well as going to the Attorney General's office. We're waiting for final approval on that. We had sent out a letter to the 4 residents on Wilson's Way concerning the easements that were accepted at town meeting, and have not received anything. So tomorrow we'll be sending out a follow-up letter to those 4 residents, asking them to sign the paperwork that had been created by Jillian Barger over at Anderson Krieger. And we'll give them about a month. If that doesn't happen, then we'll send a letter, another follow-up letter, probably on legal letterhead, because we could take this by eminent domain, which we certainly don't want to do. And I'm also going to try to get the contact information for the 4 residents and see if I could just give them a call. Online permitting. So as of last week, implementation has started. The completion date is January of 2026, a longer process than I thought, but for the next 6 months. There's stuff that the team, which is basically Chris Costello and Jason Belmonte, who's the health agent, has asked for by the end of June, and they've been informed that until we have a town planner, they will not be getting anything from the planning board. But as soon as we do, it's a top priority. But very exciting, very excited to get started on it. And I think as they start to implement the process, there are decisions that we'll have to make as a planning board. We certainly don't want to continue processes or using forms that aren't up to date and so forth. So the tweaking that's going to be done with all that. But again, that'll be all part of the process over the next 6 months before they roll out. But fantastic that they've started it, and it's great that Jason is helping Chris on it. So part of the town meeting article was that we would review site plan review. And that's certainly something that's going to be on the top of the list for the new town planner to get that started. But we do have to schedule also a site plan review tutorial by council, which was canceled this winter for technical reasons. So again, we'll probably do that sometime in September. I've asked Nina for some dates that she's available and see how they coincide with our meeting dates and put something together for that. And I am going to cancel our June 30th meeting. So our next meeting will be on July 14th. We don't have any updates yet on the status of the EOHLC's review of our preliminary bylaw for MBTA or the overlay district. We're keeping our fingers crossed on that, and we'll probably be checking in and ask Jeff to check in with the OHLC over the next week or so.
Carol, just, I saw your email and I will shoot Jeff an email to ask, to poke around.
Wonderful, great, thanks, Jody. Yeah, it'll be nice to know, because we do have that August 18th meeting where we thought we'd try to give everybody a last update and bring the boards and committees on board for that meeting, so they
Yeah,
can make their
exactly.
votes.
I know.
So it's hard to believe it's getting closer, but yeah.
I know, God,
Summer has
Yep.
begun. We're talking about the fall.
I know, it's crazy.
Amazing. Val, do you have any updates from your tree work or anything?
So I can't remember if we mentioned in our last meeting that the state did extend our grant for the tree bylaw work. So now we just have to reach out to the MAPC group to finalize the scope of services and a start date.
Wonderful. Okay, great. And if you come by the planning board office, you'll see on the wall across from the planning board office, the Tree City plaque is now up.
Oh, good. Excellent.
And the banner
Thank you.
the banner is being saved for however you and the tree committee would like to use it at Dover Days or whatever.
Thank you.
So who has that in the office?
Yeah, that's awesome. And kind of along those same lines, we in our last tree committee meeting, we talked about providing some public education. I did provide Kevin McCabe with a draft of a flyer that he, I believe, is circulating to vendors in the area, tree vendors and construction vendors, so that they are aware of the new stormwater bylaw and the tree regulations in it. We also would like to put together a public forum for Dover so that we can talk about the different tree bylaws that exist within Dover, but also get feedback from folks about their concerns or questions that they might have to do with trees. So we're hoping to do that maybe late September, but we don't want to mix it up with the MBTA. So I'll reach out to you, Carol, and get a date that we think might work best.
Okay, I don't know what the flyer looks like, but you know, we're going to be sharing a booth with the selectmen on Dover Days
Okay.
to promote MBTA.
Oh,
So
perfect.
if you wanted to have some of those flyers available for citizens.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that and for everything Tree Committee's doing. It's really
Oh,
quite,
sure.
it's great.
Mhm.
Jody, anything else on MBTA or anything else that you can think of?
No, the only, other than hearing from EOHLC, you know, the thing on my mind is that Form 7 and making sure we have the dates on that lined up. And I know that the first date, we're not there yet. And I'm kind of hoping that we wrap up this hiring with Melissa and she can take the ball and run with that. So I'm hoping that those two things will collide in a really happy fashion. And that
Here-
involves, you know, the scheduling of the public hearing and all of the public notices in the paper, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, so there's this Form 7 that has to be put together and sent to the AG's office every time for every bylaw. So for instance, the ones we did at town meeting. And you know, to Jody's point, it goes, you have to show the you know, the notices in the newsletter, various other requirements and dates. And if you've missed any of those dates, then it's not an official bylaw, and you have to go back the next year. You can't. So we asked Jasmine to start the folder, if you will, with all the stuff, but it does weigh on our minds because mistakes aren't retrievable. So I totally agree with you, Jody. Fingers crossed. Everybody just keep all their fingers
Yeah.
crossed.
I know, exactly. And worst case scenario, my plan has been to sit down or at least get on the phone with Felicia, because I believe that in the absence of a planner, we'll just hopefully be able to lean on Felicia a little bit just to make sure we've really got our ducks in a row on that, which I know we will one way or the other. It's just a matter of focusing on it.
Right. It's all on that checklist of to-do list.
Yeah.
Has anybody heard any vibe, anything about the MBTA communities, or it's quiet out there? It's summer.
Yeah.
Quiet.
I spoke to one of my neighbors impromptu, and they just were talking about how they thought the site that was picked was good.
Ah,
They,
good.
Oh, that's
they were
good.
talking to other neighbors who were like, I really don't think it should be there for all these reasons. And they're like, this is the best for us to do an overlay. So just a little feedback.
Yeah, no, that's great. You know, we may have talked about this already, but you know, one of the, I think maybe at the last meeting, but you know, we're gonna have to make sure that not only do we have a quorum, but that we have folks that are going to vote yes. Because those that are involved in the overlay district might choose to attend in Moss and vote no. So we do have to keep that in account as well. Well, if there's nothing else, then I guess I will see you all at Monday morning's meeting at 8 o'clock. So we'll be getting out the Zoom information, and the agenda will get posted over the next day or two. And everybody have a wonderful weekend.
You
Thanks.
too.
Thanks, Carol.
Right.
Thanks so much. Sorry
Thanks
that I
so
was 2 minutes
Okay.
late. Thanks for your patience.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Corey. Bye-bye.